Good morning and welcome to the DFS YouTube channel. I'm Razzle11 and you can find me on X at Razzle11Grinds. Going to take a look at the pitching for today, the 30th of September. It is game one of the postseason, or day one of the postseason. 4 games. 4 game ones of the wild card round. Low totals, which you would expect with strong pitching. And some interesting spots for some bats. I did break down the pitch profiles for each matchup in the Discord. You'll definitely want to go check that out. Read the notes. Get an idea of which bats might be in better spots than others. Pretty important to do in a spot like this when we have such strong pitching options. And being that it is the postseason, we're likely to see some pinch hits, platoons, etc. We'll even see some pitchers get yanked a little earlier as soon as some trouble happens. It's going to come down to getting the bats correct. I'm not saying that because pitching's terrible. I'm saying that because pitching's so good that it might come down to sprinkling in some mini stacks rather than full stacks. But that's talking about hitting. We're here to talk about pitching. 4-gamer. The only weather, quote-unquote weather, is winds blowing in Wrigley. Not very strong, but it is still blowing in. That arguably has the weakest pitching matchup. But one of the pitchers in there stands out quite a bit when talking about pitch profiling. A reminder, this is a first look at the pitching options, which isn't necessarily true for this video because I did spend last night digging into pitch profiles, but I will be looking mostly at DraftKings since that is where a majority of my action is. I think on FanDuel you can cut the pool down a little bit in this spot, but I am playing every pitcher on the slate. It's just deciding which pitchers to go underweight on compared to the projected ownership of the field. So, but let's just jump in. Talk about Detroit and Cleveland. Skubal, the likely AL Cy Young winner. Each of his last 2 starts have come against Cleveland. It's going to be the case for Gavin Williams. Each of his last 2 starts have come against Detroit as well. Not the most ideal at all to have a big round 1 matchup and both starting pitchers have faced the opposition 2 straight times. You know how I feel about back-to-back starts. This is something that we're not used to necessarily. But Skubal overall 4 starts against Cleveland this season, averaging nearly 40, or 34. Sorry, it's early. Nearly 34 DK points per game in those starts. 40 strikeouts in 28 innings. Just 2 earned runs allowed. It's been absolutely dominant against Cleveland. Cleveland, one of the hottest teams in baseball in September. Home postseason series with all the electricity in the ballpark. Maybe Skubal's the guy that we go underweight on. I'm not really sure. It's tough to go underweight on the best pitcher overall, but maybe that is today. The other side of things, Gavin Williams, back-to-back elite starts against the Detroit squad. 21 strikeouts in 11 innings. 30-plus DK points in 3 out of his last 5 starts. 3 starts against Detroit this season, averaging over 30 DK points per start. Just phenomenal. The growth of Gavin Williams as the season's gone on has been super impressive. He's pitching at home, where his overall numbers are strongest. So he's going to be comfortable. These 2 teams faced off last year in the postseason, so I really love Gavin Williams. I just hate the fact that Detroit's seen him now 2 times in a row. He's such an extreme reverse splits guy that he has the ability to dominate, Kerry Carpenter and Riley Greene, which is going to be super important for the Cleveland pitching staff. The key batter, though, for Detroit in the series could be somebody like Gleyber Torres to be a leader, etc. But yeah, it's tough for me to not love Gavin Williams. There's a lot of people that I saw talking up, Riley Greene and Kerry Carpenter, etc. But Detroit's coming in having basically collapsed in the second half, losing the division. So I expect Detroit to kind of turn it around a little bit, but it's really tough to just flip the switch after the heartbreak of just collapsing, losing the division, being the last wild card team because of it. Just a couple days later, having to flip the switch and refocus. Not the easiest thing to do. Next game, San Diego and the Cubs. Nick Pivetta. If I was going to fade any pitchers, it probably would be Pivetta. Feels not the greatest, but coming off of back-to-back starts that weren't the best, and 4 of his last 5 haven't been all that strong either. And I believe he's much worse on the road, which is where he's pitching today. He's not terrible, but he's not as dominant. That increase in walks last start, that's definitely annoying. They did run him out there for 112 pitches, which, is a season high for him. So there's just some question marks. The Cubs obviously kind of struggled in the second half of the season, but still a ton of potency in that lineup. Power steals, that sort of thing. I'm going to sprinkle in Pivetta, but he's definitely going to be the lowest owned for me on this slate. On the other side, Matthew Boyd. I would think that a lot of people might think to just fade Boyd. Normally I probably wouldn't be too against it. He has not looked good, over the last month and a half. You have to go back just over a month and a half since the last time he put up 20 DK points. His last start was promising in a tough spot against a tough team in the Mets. So I like those trends, but just pitch profile wise, he stands out so strongly against San Diego. San Diego struggles against left-handed pitching a lot more than you think. And one of the ones that struggle the most on the team, Fernando Tatis, is probably going to be fairly popular. He generally is, at least, he's going in the first or second round in some of the best ball drafts on Underdog. Tatis, that is. Going in the second round in their daily contest for today as well. I think that's overhyping Tatis in a spot that he just doesn't look that good from a metric standpoint. So Boyd is definitely somebody I'm very interested in. They will be pretty left-hand heavy, and losing Ramon Laureano for the first round, I think he's going to be out for, is a huge blow to San Diego, especially against the Cubs, who are going to roll out 2 left-handed pitchers to start this series. Boston, New York, big-time matchup, obviously big-time rivalry spot. Garrett Crochet, second best pitcher in the AL this season. Legitimate shot at the Cy Young, but I'm pretty sure it is Skubal. Basically 32 plus in 3 out of his last 4 starts. Been absolutely phenomenal. Can give up home runs. You saw a 4 home run game to Cleveland of all teams. 2 to this New York squad. 2 to Tampa Bay. Close the season out strong, but with just 6 strikeouts against Toronto, they obviously don't strike out all that much, so it is what it is. But 4 starts against the Yankees this season, 39 strikeouts in 27 innings, 29 fantasy points per start. He's pitching on the road where he's been even better than at home. So, things line up to be a really strong upside spot for Crochet. Now, the other side, the Yankees do have a potent lineup, plenty of power, especially in that ballpark. So it'll be very interesting. He basically strikes out Judge, or Judge hits a home run in their previous matchup, so that's very interesting to pay attention to. On the other side, Max Fried. Max Fried definitely has the postseason experience on his side. Went through a little lull in August, July and August, And then back half of August and September, he's been really strong. Closing the season out with 2 really strong starts. 3 starts against Boston this season, 22 fantasy points per start. He's pitching at home, where he's been phenomenal. He's just not the big K guy that you like to see, in Game 1 of series, but he's just really strong. Probably a better DraftKings play than a FanDuel play, but I am very interested in Fried just because that Boston lineup overall, it's not too worrisome. There are a couple bets that grade out really well, Romy Gonzalez being one of them, but I like Fried's postseason history and his upside. He's probably one that a lot of people might just pass on a little bit, just because he, from a ceiling standpoint, he really can't match most of the slate. Like, he's going to be able to match Pivetta and Boyd for sure. Maybe not even Gavin Williams, the way that Gavin Williams is thrown the last half of the season. Cincinnati and the Dodgers. Blake Snell, the largest favorite on the slate, getting to pitch at home. Allowed, 1 run over his last 19 innings, or 3 starts. 2 double-digit strikeout performances in that stretch. Small sample all season long, but still just absolutely dominant. His numbers in Los Angeles this year have been ridiculous. If he could have controlled his walks, it'd be even more phenomenal. 20 walks in 38 and a third home innings. Definitely an extreme number. But the other numbers are just ridiculously strong. Cincinnati, for much of the season, struggled against left-handed pitching. I'm not sure that was the case down the stretch. They definitely got to a very left or right-hand heavy lineup against left-handed pitching. So platoon splits might show that they've been stronger to close out the season. But Blake Snell probably, my favorite overall pitcher on the slate, just from a pure upside standpoint. But he's much more volatile than Skubal and Crochet. There are routes to him struggling with walks, and if a couple of home runs happen after those walks, turns into big innings, and his numbers then obviously plummet compared to the other guys at the top, who do a pretty good job of limiting damage when they don't have their best stuff. On the other side, Hunter Greene. If you've been watching or reading my content for a couple of years, you understand how much I love Hunter Greene. He's got 40-plus fantasy points in 2 out of his last 4 starts. He mixed in an atrocious one there. He struggled against the Dodgers earlier this season. He's pitching away where he's been mediocre at best. 10 home runs allowed in 39 and a third road innings. That is less than ideal as well when taking on a Dodgers squad full of power. The Dodgers, probably the most popular stack, to be honest. I could see somebody going to like the Cubs in San Diego, but if people looking at numbers, I don't think they're going to be super excited to be super overweight on San Diego as a stack. So I do think the Dodgers end up being, 1A or 1B as far as the most popular stack when all said and done. But there we have it. There's my first look into the pitching options on this slate. If you enjoy what I bring to you, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell on, get the alert anytime we drop videos here at DFS Army. If you want to join us, get access to our coaches, tools, sheets, Discord, etc., I will drop links in the description below. You can use promo code RAZ, that's R-A-Z, for 10% off monthly. I will drop a link to the merch store in the description. You can check out the designs, check out my shirt design here, our Arbin pre-lock for football, etc. Grab a sweatshirt. But anyways, appreciate you checking it out, and as always, best of luck, everybody.